take a look at what went wrong. We're going to go to some of the losing teams from Week 7. We start with the Jets here, and the Jets have a lot of problems, but at the top of the list is the offensive line. They rank 24th in the NFL in pass block win rate, 28th in the NFL in run block win rate. The bad blocking meant less time for Aaron Rodgers to connect with his newest target. The Jets QB talked about next steps for him and Davante Adams.
There was a few opportunities we had, but, I think we were just kind of easing Tay in. He, had a lot of feel for the offense, but there wasn't a lot of different things that we felt, we wanted to just throw him into. But I think you're going to see his role expand as we move forward. So we go out, we play free, we have fun, we enjoy each other on the field, we do the little things, we pick each other up, celebrate, we believe in each other, we communicate on the sidelines, and we go on a run.
That from the McAfee Show today. Go ahead, Hawk. What went wrong?
Yeah, I was going to say they quote-unquote eased Davante Adams in. He played 95+% of the snaps. He led the team in targets, and that's exactly what felt like it went wrong. It felt like they forced a new piece that had not had any chemistry or practice into the lineup. Their offensive strategy regressed. Downing went from, in his first week calling plays, 70+% in pre-snap motion to mid-45%. And going against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the National Football League, it seemed disjolted, and for right reason.
Let's go back to last night's game. The Chargers defense has allowed 20 or fewer points in all 6 games this season, and yet LA just 3-3. It's tied with the 2007 Chiefs and 2002 Panthers for the second worst start by a team who allowed 20 or fewer points in each of their first 6 games since 1980. Dan, what went wrong for the Chargers offense?
They need to trade for a wide receiver. I did not feel that way going into the football game, but watching it live last night, and Justin Herbert throwing for 350 yards, and many of them to a tight end, Will Dissly, but then constantly settling for field goals in the red zone. You sit there and go, this is a really good football team. It's a well-coached football team. This is a football team that absolutely can get into the playoffs in year 1 under Coach Harbaugh. But they need a person on the outside that's going to be that person on third down. The Hawk you intimated at saying they can win. Look for Mike Williams, the old Charger, to have the conversation of maybe joining this new Chargers. He would be a massive impact to their pass game.
That's a good point. Good call. All right, the Texans lost a close one to the Packers on Sunday. C.J. Stroud had his worst game of the season in Green Bay. He completed just 48% of his passes and averaged just over 4 yards per attempt. His QBR 22, down 44 points from his season average entering the day. Graz, you were at the game. What went wrong for the Texans?
Well, they didn't handle pressure well from the Green Bay Packers, and it's a concern talking to Texans people after the game because they saw a lot of the same problems that they saw earlier in the season when they lost to Minnesota. That was the other game this year in which C.J. Stroud had a QBR in the 20s, and the issue is disguised pressures. He and they are not picking up on them. You see, he struggled against the blitz, obviously, but also even when they weren't blitzing, when they're sending 4, it's a matter of identifying which 4. It gave them fits against the Vikings, it gave them fits against the Packers, and they know they have to fix it because other teams are going to start doing it if they can't stop it.
Yeah, let's bring Marcus in here. And Marcus, show us what that Packers defense threw at Stroud that made it so tough.
Yeah, I love what Hafley is doing, Jeff Hafley, the defense coordinator from Green Bay. This is now a defense that wants to dictate and put you in bad situations. Here you see the 2 A-gap pressure with the linebacker, but they use the center and Kenny Clark in this particular situation. It's a pick on the guard by the linebacker, Eric Wilson, who's stepping in for Quay Walker and being highly productive. They get the CJ there. The next down, they decide we will attack the center with both of the linebackers, walk them up in the A-gap. See the back get confused thinking that he has 56 as opposed to taking the rapper who is 45. So now you got 2-on-1 and it's a problem for this protection up front. Now, on one hand, we could say, well, the Houston Texans need to be better, right? Obviously. On the other hand, this defensive coordinator and the way these guys are executing these inside stunts and the way that he's bringing pressure right in directly in the face of the quarterback. And don't think for 1 second, the scouting report from the Minnesota game, and Dan and Hawk knows this, was to get interior pressure against C.J. Stroud immediately. It is one of those things with quarterbacks like him who does play with a lot of timing and rhythm and operates really well from inside the pocket. It's how you disrupt them, and Green Bay followed that plan that Flores put out and made it happen against him, man.
Yeah, the Packers have an NFL high 17 takeaways this season. That's 3 more than the next closest team.
Aggressive.
And talk a little bit more about the Packers offense, you guys. Jordan Love has 8 interceptions this season, tied for most in the NFL. He's the first Packers player with 8 interceptions in his first 5 games of a season since Brett Favre in 2005. Love had just 11 interceptions in 17 games last season. Dan, you concerned about the interceptions for Love?
I am, and Matt LaFleur should be. I think this is the greatest challenge of Matt LaFleur's coaching career. Because this is a quarterback that is so remarkably talented. And you know that this team is capable of making a run in the playoffs. But at some point, I'm trying to do too much interceptions could cost this football team. A couple weeks ago, Jordan Love on the move. It's 3rd down and forever, dude. There's no shot of anything positive happening for this play. But you throw a pick 6, hurts your football team. You go back to this past weekend, early down play action. Jordan, the play's not there. The defense won the rep, but you're just gonna backpedal, float this ball to the middle of the field and bang, interception. You're lucky that doesn't hurt your football team. Now, there have been some bad break interceptions, no doubt about it, where he's going to throw a stick route to the bottom of the screen and the receiver's going to slip. This is the right read and the right throw. So those are the ones you sit there and go, okay, that's not going to kill our football team. This one will. When you look at that nickel defender, this stick at the bottom of the screen, it's outside in, Jordan. You can't force that ball to the inside. So there's bad luck. There's trying to do too much. And here's my thing with the whole situation. Hawk, you know this. He's an ultra-aggressive quarterback.
Yes.
But those interceptions aren't from being ultra-aggressive.
Yeah.
They're from trying to do too much, trying to YOLO ball too much. And my fear is, can Matt LaFleur get him to consistently be the ultra-aggressive quarterback that helps their offense, but peel away the trying to do too much part of his game?
And, that is a form of aggression. And that is the problem with Jordan Love. And he has to learn to curb his appetite to rely on his incredible arm strength, his super athleticism that he can make any play. Independent
you
of what
love that about him.
You do. It makes him special. The fact that he is an aggressive quarterback is why we talk about him the way that we do. Because he has a healthy amount of aggression. He has to learn to curb it. And I don't know if LaFleur does that with the scheme, but for him, he needs to separate the quarterback he is and the quarterback that the situation calls for. That's the word. Next step for him.
That's the word. Situation.
Yes.
I think it's LaFleur in his ear. Hey, situation or 3rd and long, nothing to hurt the team. Hey, 1st down, we're calling a shot. If it's not there, dump it down. You're just constantly reminding him to be situationally aware of when and when not to.
And he's probably doing that in his ear. Really fast, it kind of makes me think of Josh Allen. I realize different quarterbacks, but at times like trying to do a little bit.
Yeah, Josh, and Josh was like the no play is ever dead type of thing. He's got that in him. He's also got a little bit of that, well, I can make that throw. Or I can make that play.
Which maybe he can. That's the hard part,
When is it going to hurt the team in a massive moment? That's the question.
We expect him to be a postseason team, and that's a big reason why. Well, a reminder there of how bad things were before the bye week for the Cowboys. And then Derrick Henry went off last night for the Ravens. Jerry Jones was asked about it again this morning. Listen to this.
Derrick Henry is having a career year. I don't know if he'd be having that career year in our situation. And that's really something you really do have to look at. Because if he had not had as many carries as our running backs have had, then he certainly probably wouldn't have attained the level of impact he's having. And then he's a real good complement to the type of offense they run. We don't run that type of offense at all. Derrick Henry didn't fit because principally of managing the cap.
What? Ooh. Oh. Swag.
Glitching.
Bro, I feel like I'm in one of them relationships where I just need the health insurance, but I don't want to stay in it. And look, man, Jerry got to go on radio and say something every week because that's a part of the contract. That was and this is a lot. That is one of the most asinine statements I've ever heard. Derrick Henry didn't play in this scheme when he was in Tennessee, and he was still running for 2,000 yards a season, damn near. Listen, man, you got to justify, and I'm going to say this until the end of the season. You got to continue to justify that you made all the wrong decisions. And you saw the girl in the club while the lights was off. Now the lights are on. And you realize this ain't what I thought it was. And you trying to move on, but we not going to let you move on. We going to keep reminding you that the dude down there running for 2,000 yards should have been in Dallas and wanted to be in Dallas.
He did. Now let me just say one quick thing though. That goes two ways. So sometimes the girl, the lights come on in the club, and you're looking at the guy, you're thinking that's not who I thought you were. So anyway.
Yeah,
I haven't been to a club
in not gonna say
20 years, guys.
Me either. Let's go to Detroit. They're going to be without an important piece of the offense this weekend. Roz, tell us what's going on with Jameson Williams.
Yeah, Jameson Williams, Lions wide receiver, is facing a 2-game suspension for violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. He will miss games against the Tennessee Titans and the Green Bay Packers the next 2 weeks. Not Jameson Williams' first suspension. Remember, he had a gambling suspension to begin last season. So he's been a guy that was a former first-round pick that they've sort of had to move in and out of the lineup because of his lack of availability. But he has been a bigger part of their offense this year as a deep threat and somebody they can use in more ways than they used to. So he will be missed over the next 2 weeks.
We'll keep an eye on that. Let's go to Indy. They won on Sunday, but wasn't pretty. And to say Anthony Richardson has been inaccurate this season would be an understatement. He ranks dead last in completion percentage, off-target percentage, incompletion percentage over expectation, according to Next Gen Stats. And he's last in all 3 categories by a wide margin. Dan, why is Richardson struggling?
He's not improving, and that's my concern. And I would try to figure out why if I was Shane Steichen, their head coach and play caller. Why is the young man not improving? His feet are all over the place. His eyes are all over the place. There's a lack of consistency in really any part of his football game. That's concerning. I understand he hasn't played a lot of football. He's got to play and develop to get better. The question is, why is he not getting better? Is the work being put in to get better and improve on your game? And I think they're in a tough spot, the Colts, if I'm being honest. Everyone knows I love Anthony's talent. They're probably better right now as a football team with Joe Flacco.
It's tough, and he's got to play. So what do you do? All right, there's a lot there. Finally, in Pittsburgh, the quarterback situation continues to evolve with Russell Wilson getting the win on Sunday over the Jets. Mike Tomlin talked about Russ's debut earlier today.
His poise, I thought his experience was really evident. He was unmoved and unshaken by the lack of fluidity with the start. But I think that's kind of reflective of a guy that's done it at a high level for over a decade, a guy that's a world champion, a guy that's 9-10-time Pro Bowler. He's just seen a lot in this game, and that's in his back pocket, just like his throwing abilities. And it gets you in and out of circumstances, certainly.
I just want to make, for clarity's sake, based on your answer to Mike's question, is Russell going to start on Monday?
He's scheduled to take first-team reps when we begin tomorrow. We'll see where the week leads us.
I mean, Hawk, I got to give you some credit because you were one of the only people that thought Russ should take over.
He was.
So what did you see from him on Sunday?
I appreciate that. His willingness to push the ball down the field gave this offense a balance that took the burden off of the running game. And they created this addition by subtraction effect that, again, made them more balanced than we had seen this offense all year long. Simple as that. It took pressure off of the run game, and it also threatened the back end of the defense to make them play the Pittsburgh Steelers honest.
All right, we got a lot more to come. Yeah, come on, Hawk. Stand on that.
Let's clap it up for Hawk.
Between
I'll take it.
Hawk
Thank you,
and
guys.
Mike Tomlin, you two were in lockstep there.